Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell. I've been taking care of some housekeeping matters, and so I was watching Blacklist in the meantime. And if you don't know the show Blacklist, on NBC, we'll finish off starting in March. It's on its last season, and so I wanted to get caught up and bought the DVDs and been watching it. So if you're unfamiliar with the show, it's about a guy who's a notorious wanted criminal of the FBI who just shows up at FBI headquarters at the start of the show and turns himself in. And he says, "I've got a blacklist of criminals you don't even know exist." and he says, "One condition, I only speak through this brand new field agent that started that very same day as well." And she is roped into helping this FBI unit, and chaos ensues, which is kind of cool because lots of times your FBI show, for example, or your FBI Most Wanted that's also started up, or even Blue Bloods, or most of your cop shows are such that the opening is the big excitement, and then they come back from the introduction of the show and it's all investigation and tracking leads, and it's all boring. Because then at the last 5 minutes of the show, "Oh, I'm going to confess now. Oh, you caught me. This was my motive, which is not necessary for a conviction in a court of law, but I'm giving you my motive as well." But no, this keeps the excitement going throughout the show, which is kind of cool. But I'll give you a spoiler alert, so plug your ears or skip ahead in the video if you can figure out where I'm going to stop talking about the spoiler alert. He's her dad. And so he keeps it a secret from her, and she gets all stressed. "Oh, people are trying to kill me, and you're not telling me the truth, and I don't know what to believe." And so I just finished an episode near the end of the first season, and it's the second time where she says, "That's it, we're through. You're a monster." And of course I know she's coming back because I'm on season 7 right now, where they introduced Mommy. "Mother, the blood." And so yeah, but if you don't know my story, you won't understand why a father-daughter show appeals to me, especially one where the father has been separated for decades. And so yes, the church does have to do with that. This is, now that I've given you my object lesson, I can get into the meat of the lesson. If you haven't noticed, I've been going to war against Utah for their war on porn. And I revealed in the second of the two videos, which were not as popular, because apparently people were just like, "Porn? Oh, gotta see porn. No porn." He just talks. Yeah, couldn't you figure that from the thumbnail? But I don't know why vehicles have to be so loud. All right, so throughout my life, I was constantly told, no, no, no. You can't have this information. You can't have this toy for Christmas. You're getting socks and underwear for Christmas. You're not transferring over to Corona High just because you want to take German instead of French or Spanish at Norco High. And so that was my life, constantly being told no, 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 no. And yes, I was a spoiled brat because I figured out how to get what I wanted by just simply getting involved in it and then telling my parents, I'm on the basketball team, I need shoes. And so, yeah, I'm going to Rick's. You need to pay for it. So, you know, if they're going to say no to me all the time, I'm going to figure out a way so that they have no choice but to say, here you go. And so, that was my development as a child. When parents say no to me, I find a way to find the information. And so, being raised in the Mormon church, I was told, we have no idea. We don't know about the plates. They're taken by an angel. We don't know about how Joseph translated the Book of Mormon. We don't know how he translated the Book of Abraham. We don't know what this Egyptian stuff is. We don't know what it says. Just no, no, no. We don't know. We don't know. No one knows. It's higher learning, higher knowledge. You know, find out when you're dead. And that's unacceptable to me because I was constantly being told no, and so I constantly pursued finding out the information. Many of the books that I've been publishing, and I've lost count. There's too many to try to count. I've been going over my files, and all my publications are in different file systems, and so I've got to find them all and unite them into one, and then the number will show up at the bottom. But until then, I have no idea how many I've got. But they are, for the most part, research books, because nobody else had the book published. Nobody else knows. And so that's what I did, is I did the original research, the pioneering research, to find the answers that everybody was telling me I don't know. And so yes, I walked into the field of Paleo-Hebrew. Boom, there you go. I've deciphered Paleo-Hebrew now. It was really easy. I don't know why nobody else has figured it out. And maybe they have, and they've been keeping it a secret, but yeah. Because it was the spring semester of '96 when I took Biblical Hebrew, and then so for the summer I finished up in Greek, because Thomas Robinson asked me to do the CD-ROM for his revised Greek dictionary, and I had to tell him I graduated. I'm already planning on moving down to this place called Utah. And so I referred him to John Penny, and I think John passed it up also because he was going to BYU. But anyway, Yeah, Mastering New Testament Greek by Thomas Robinson. I got the book. And so that's how I've done things in my life, is philosophy of Mormonism. No other Mormon did it. I did it. And that's how I work. That's how I do things. That's how I figure it out. And so the porn, like I told you in the Mormon porn video wars, Mormon porn war videos, is that I was exposed to porn as a child. That's what the legislator is trying to protect, is children. But I've been a child exposed to pornography, and it ain't no thing. I wasn't harmed by it. The harm came from those who wanted to keep me from watching it, getting a sex education. Like I mentioned, the bishop directly punished me just because I confessed to, I saw a magazine once. Okay, disciplined. No sacrament. But yeah, I wanted to find out, why is this bad? What's the harm with it? I've seen it, and people are making me feel guilty for having seen it. But what is the cause of badness? I'm not feeling bad, other than the feelings of feeling bad. I don't understand, and that's usually because other people are telling me to. And so, you gotta do things in secret so that nobody sees that you're researching the subject. But yeah, I also have to then pay attention to my own body. How is it functioning? What is it doing when it's doing what it's wanting to do? and again, I'm shocked that no other doctors come out with this and explaining this properly. And yet we have expletives deleted, who are going around claiming they have all the answers when they're not even real doctors, they're not even real scientists. And so, I likewise learned that pornography is not harmful as everybody's claiming it is, because I did the research. I spent decades on the research, man. The research files are just huge. They'd fill a room. Yes, obviously it was different than Paleo-Hebrew research. Although Paleo-Hebrew research took, I guess we started in January, so it took 13 months for me to decipher Paleo-Hebrew. I was kind of distracted trying to finish school, so I wasn't doing much research at school. It was when I moved here to Utah that I was coming home from work and then spending what little time I could. So technically it was August, September-ish when I started. And so September, October, November, December, January, and February, 6 months it took me to decipher Paleo-Hebrew. And so, with Egyptian, same way. How did Joseph Smith translate? And so, once I figured out Paleo-Hebrew, I then recognized the Egyptian glyphs. I went, oh! Sure enough, I ran the tests, confirmed it, and in the process of running the tests, I went, wait a minute, I recognize that from the Bible. Sure enough, that's where the Bible got it from, was the Egyptian glyphs. So, that's my life. People tell me no, or I don't know, and nobody knows, and we'll find out when we're dead, and that's unacceptable to me, and I find the answers. And if and people don't know, then I do the original research to find the answers. And I'm apparently pretty quick at it. And so church history. Spending most of my time on Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, I wasn't concerned about studying church history. And so I was finding out that Joseph Smith was right. So I wasn't concerned about church history, because what I was finding, it confirmed Joseph Smith as a legitimate person. And then of course I interacted with farms, and they said, no, Joseph is not. And so I went to war against farms. But so yeah, I never studied church history, and until December 2017, because that's when the Doctrine and Covenants was being taught in Sunday school, and neighbor down the block said, "Hey, did you hear that Joseph Smith had a gun in jail?" I said, "Yep, sure did. Third great grandfather, John Solomon Fulmer, gave him a gun. That's my ancestor's gun." "Oh, well, did you know there were two?" I went, "Oh, no, I did not know two. Family only told about one." And so that got me curious. So I tried to do the research. Church is no good for the research. Even Wikipedia for the church information is worthless. It's only good for pivotal lead directions. It's no good for actual first-hand source information, as Wikipedia is excellent for other subject matters on that. But for some reason, Mormonism is crap on Wikipedia. And so I had to search and research. And with church history, you can't just stop with one discovery, because that one discovery then branches off into multiple branches that you've now got to research to understand the one that you were on. And so lots of hours, days, even weeks and months doing the research. And I published my notes. I put it in a timeline so that I can check things out according to the timeline to figure everything out. So all the branches were put together into a single timeline, and then published that when I had enough for publication on Amazon, which is 24 pages. And then I still had to keep going, because that was only up until the time the church got started. That's how much I had obtained at my first publication of the notes. But yeah, and now I listen to the critics of the church who claim that the church is wrong because they're confessing that this is now the true history of the church. And I just saw that Saints 2 is now out in publication, and so again, more lies to deceive and lie to people about, and people don't get it. Even those who are critics of the church, who left the church because of what the church told them was now the truth after having confessed to lying and deceiving them. No, guys, don't listen to anything the church says. You can't trust them now. They confessed to lying and deceiving. We cannot trust them if they're going to come out with the new information. Case in point, how many rocks were in Joseph's hat? I'll give you a hint, it's not the one that they're advertising now. They just keep lying to us. They're habitual liars. And it's sad, having been a Mormon my whole life, trusting in them, believing in them, finding out translation. Hey, Joseph is right. I come to Utah. Hey, Joseph is right. And they secretly blacklist me, which is also another reason why I was interested in blacklist. But it's just horrifying that the church that I was born and raised in and trusted to be legitimate is just a fraud. And now that they've been exposed, they just keep the fraud going. They don't care about the number of members that they're losing. And now they're physically losing members. The number of converts are not measuring up to the amount of those who are leaving. And so it's catching up with them. And the church is collapsing within itself. And the church leaders are just like, we got $100 billion in that financial institution, $100 billion in that financial institution, $100 billion in that financial institution, we're making interest regardless of whether we lose our members or not. And so, I don't know. But I forgot to put something in my other comment video, John. If you're listening this long into my video, no, John, Trump is not the man-child. I hope you caught that in the other video, but if I need to speak directly to you, I'm doing it here now. No, Trump is not replacing the Mormon who's supposed to do it. Oh my God, John. Again, let me reiterate for you. When you have an error in your thinking and you branch off all subsequent thinking from that error, those are also in error. You're going down the wrong path. That's your mistake that you're making. Not just with Trump being the man-child, but also with the church being Democrats. My God, John, get over it. You've got nothing. All that you think are evidence, they're not evidence. You're just throwing out wild speculations and accusations, and you're tying it all together as a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to start thinking in terms of the church are Antichrist, white supremacist, alt-right, Republican Nazis who are racist, sexist, bigoted, full of all sorts of hate. Once you get that understanding behind you, you can then branch out safely, because that's who they are. They are nothing but liars, deceivers, haters. And that's the big con on Mormons and those who even leave the church. Because those who leave the church then go and accuse the church of their confession. Oops, no guys, they're still lying to you. And so, please, stop. You're actually just frustrating me with all your attempts. You know, I understand you're a Trump lover. You can't see it because Trump has brainwashed you, just as the Mormon church has brainwashed Mormons. And it's because you have the category of Republican in your mindset. You placed yourself in the category of Republicans. And so all you see benefits Republicans and attacks Democrats. You're not capable of getting out of that box like you did with Mormonism. And you did it with Mormonism because you were personally attacked by Mormons. And when Trump will attack, and he will, it's coming, then you'll pull out of that box too. But that's what I'm talking about with my brainwashing series. And you've fallen for it with Trump. Whereas you pulled yourself out because you were a victim in the church. So, alright. How do I get through to people? I just don't understand. The brainwashing is so tough, so hardened on people.